Hello, everyone. This is San Murugesan, Director of Bright Professional Services in Sydney. It's my pleasure to be with you in this program and give my thoughts on the web and the privacy, what is the interactions among them. I would like to welcome you all to this presentation. And also I'd like to thank the organizers, Navi and others for inviting me to give this talk. I'll be talking about the role of technology in our life and how it has impacted the primacy and what are the challenges ahead in the years to come. So first I will briefly describe the evolution of the web, which has given rise to the major transformation of our life and work. And also let us look at how that is impacting our professional as well as personal privacy in the new context. First, let me share you some of the slides, and I will make the slides available at the end of the presentation on my website. You can download it at any time. Just give me a minute. Okay. So as I said, I will be talking about the evolution of the web and online privacy. And we look at how the web has evolved and where we are now and where we are likely to be in the coming years. That is how, in essence, how the privacy is in the digital age. As you all know, the concept of privacy is not new. It is as old as human existence in many ways. And also now the greater realization that privacy is a fundamental human right. But given that scenario, there are increased concerns about privacy in the technology-driven area, particularly the age we are living in, which primarily people call as information age or digital age. So many countries, including India, Australia, US, they have instituted privacy acts specifying strict rules about how the individual's personal information has to be collected, used, and how it to be protected. But despite the institution of the rules and the enforcement of the Privacy Act, there are privacy breaches, and part of that due to the human being, part of that due to the technology limitation, and other factors. So one need to understand have one's privacy rights and also respect that of privacy of others. Unfortunately, or even regrettably, that seems to be difficult in the digital world we live in. And hence, the summit as well as the talk get a more relevance in the respect to the need. Privacy is linked to and impacted by technology, particularly by information technologies, such as the internet, web, social media, mobile apps, and so on and so forth. The web has evolved over the years, in the last 30 years or so. And more so, the evolution has been significant, and it impacted us more significantly in the last 10 years or so. How it has evolved is that it evolved in terms of its features, as well as the how we interact with the web, what we can do or what we can't do, what we can control and what we cannot control. That's how it's evolved. Those are the dimensions in which we can look at the web's evolution in terms of the features, in terms of the user interaction, in terms of the user controllability. So as I said, since the technology is linked with the privacy, because technology helps in collecting the data protecting the data, and also how people want to share the data. So the technology and the privacy, data privacy linked to one another. Hence, as the technology evolved, as the web has evolved, so does the privacy. Privacy concerns, privacy challenges also has evolved over the years. That's what we will briefly look at it. So with the online and tech revolution that we have witnessed, more so in the recent years, there is now increased serious concern about the privacy. Many feel that privacy is in danger. So let us look at in this brief talk of what the web technology is, and then how it has evolved, and what is the impact on the privacy. As you know, the internet, which is the medium in which the data transfer takes place, is mainly developed not for the use what we are currently using it. It's mainly developed for defense purposes to interlink the computers with one another, so that even if there is a breakdown in one computer system which is controlling the defense establishment or defense practices, one can get access to the data information they need from the others. That's how the internet has evolved. So then it became to academic arena, then it has become to public use. But the internet alone would not have led to the, say, stage where we are now without the development of web. As you might know, the Tim Berners-Lee, working at the CERN labs in France, he came up with an easy mechanism by which the scientist, or specifically physicist, can share the information online. And he came up with the idea of web. And at that time, it was called just as a web, because there was only one version of the web, or the early version of the web. It was called as web. And when he submitted the proposal, his boss didn't see the potential of his proposal. He said, he wrote actually the proposal as a vague proposal. It is a vague, but nevertheless, he permitted him to go ahead. And that's how the web has evolved. And then the web at that time, it was primarily meant for sharing the information in a relatively easy manner among the scientists. It is meant for scientific use, for sharing the information. He came up with a proposal for, say, information sharing that was called the web. Then it evolved into the next phase. To distinguish it, they called it Web 2 or Web 2.0. It has different features. I will briefly highlight it. Then it evolved into what we might call as Web 3.0. And maybe in the distant future, we may also go into the next, say, version or the next evolution, which we might continue to call Web 4.0 or even Web 5.0. So what is that web and that it has evolved, how it has impacted us? This, in one brief chart, I would like to highlight what is the difference between the various versions of the web and where we are. As I said, it took a journey from a long way in the last 30 years. The web is not that old, it's just 30 years old, roughly. The web one, the initial version, was only a read-only web. Basically, you can put the information or a document on a web computer, and then through the internet, you can access the document from anytime, anywhere, and it's mainly provided as an information dissemination medium. So that's why you can only read only web, because it's more like a book. So you can read it, and whatever the developer or the web owner or a web hoster has put it. So it is mainly a publication medium. It, as the technical detail goes, it allows only for a static HTML web pages. There is not of much of interactivity. So like more like reading a text on a book, you look at it. And of course, it had the images, graphs, and other things. That was a read-only web. And primarily, it was meant for the scientists and other academics. Then the business started using it to putting a brochures or the company information and things like that. It was a, if you look at from the current state, you can consider that it is more of a primitive. It is a read-only one. Whatever the information they have displayed on the web, the user will be able to look at it. User didn't have much control over what has been put, or there not much of interactivity. Then it led to the next phase, Web 2.0, which where we are currently in, and which is a read-write web. So in this case, it allows the reader or user to put in say any information, some kind of information. So that's hence it's called as a read-write web. That's what it led to the most common applications we make use of now, the social media, wikis, blog, web users, which made anyone to everyone put in any kind of information. And also, it enabled the businesses to collect the information from the people. It has become a medium for more interactivity so that the developer or the user, as well as the end user, can share the information. So basically, it began in late 1990s, focused on interactivity and collaboration. And with the introduction of applications like blog, wikis, social media sites, web users were no longer just passive content users. They were both the content creators as well as the users, content users, and they can share with anyone and everyone publicly. That led to what you might call as the information explosion on one side. On the other side, then the businesses, the government, and the e-commerce business websites were able to collect the information from you. And then with the support of the other information technologies, which I briefly discussed, then it led to massive collection of data. And that's where the concern on privacy comes in. So basically, everyone and each and everyone, now we are able to share not only the textual information, videos, audios, all kinds of information on the web, and which is easily shared. It's the public place. Now, then as the next interaction, we are moving towards the Web 3, which is a read-write interact web. So it also provides a lot more interactivity, and then the collaboration between the human and machines, that's considered Web 3. So this chart gives you some technical detail. So basically, as far as the user is concerned, the top layer or the platform layer, that's what the key concern is. The earlier, when the web one, we only were able to share the files and let's say maybe email and things like that. Now the social media has become a social media e-commerce sites, which is say supported by Web 2, that becomes this one, and then the layer 3. But if you look at that, the fundamental technical aspect of it, as particularly in terms of the internet networking, it remains the same. It is called as the TCP/IP protocol. And as regards the connectivity, then earlier they had dial-up leased networks for those who used internet in India. We basically used the telephone lines as a dial-up. Those are the stages. Then the Wi-Fi, 3G, 4G mobile communication came into picture, which made it, say, the internet and web accessible to everyone, even in those in remote villages. And then next we are looking at the advanced version of Wi-Fi, 5G, 6G, and satellite, and then even the fiber optic side. But the basic networking mechanism remains the same. And then we put additional layers, one and above the other, to extend the feature. Now, basically, there is a lot of discussion about what the metaverse is. Basically, it's an interactive, more immersive environment, digital environment, and where we can have more interactivity and also more content creation, and also the better ownership of the things. There are several technologies supporting that, like augmented reality, virtual reality, and also in terms of the uh, security, blockchain technologies, and what do you call it, the NFT, non-fungible tokens, which supports the digital transactions and the digital ownership of digital assets and so on. It is something that's evolving, and what the metaverse could be is only still a concept, and it has not evolved. But nevertheless, the web is evolving, it will continue to evolve, and much more the interactivity will be there. We will continue to use the web for foreseeable time. And what has led to the internet and web and the say technologies such as the Wi-Fi, as well as the 3G, 5G, 4G, and all that, is that they led to digital transformation. And we all can appreciate we live in a digital age now. Digital technologies has transformed almost every sector and almost impacted everyone. And as a result, we are generating a lot of data. We are inputting a lot of data, and also we consuming a lot of data. So it is becoming a data intensive, information rich environment we are living in. And particularly in the recent years, the transformation has accelerated, more so in the last 2 to 3 years because of the COVID. So I don't have to emphasize the impact of COVID on digital transformation. Basically, there was a rush to digitally transform everything, even within the days and weeks. Look at the schools and colleges. Then everything they became online. Shopping has become online. So those basically the COVID has impacted the transformation in a positive way. So everything has been transformed and become digital, working from home, and so on and so forth. And this is just cartoon shows the impact. Just look at the cartoon there. Who led the digital transformation? Was it a CEO or a CTO or COVID? COVID is it. The other one is interesting. And businesses, many businesses were not keen, or even educational institutions, small businesses, to go online. The board was discussing digital transformation is years away. I don't see our company having to change anytime soon. But that has changed overnight. The COVID made such an impact. So just for instance. So it is not just only the internet web that is transformed, but there are many other associated technologies, cloud computing. Cloud computing made possible not only to store or process large volume of data, but also democratized the computing. So anyone and everyone can use, every individual still have access, has to large computing power. And the Internet of Things, basically the sensors, actuators, all connected to the Internet. So anything and everything connected to the Internet, then that becomes the Internet of Things. And the artificial intelligence, basically smart computers and algorithms, has made possible several applications which you may consider as smart enough in this new year. And then now we are going towards driverless cars, electric cars, autonomous systems which can operate automatically. So basically, all of that, why I'm highlighting is that they generate a lot of data, and they collect a lot of data. That's the impact on privacy comes into picture. And then the location-based services, telemedicine, and surveillance cameras, facial recognition, the Web3, and then the upcoming 5G and 6G cellular communication will make much more applications possible, because all these technologies driving towards a more digital living. And how it is affect the privacy. So because as I said, first people share the information with many others and publicly than what was feasible earlier. And that is the one thing. And also the businesses, the applications collect a lot of information, not only about what you are shopping, but also about your location, about your habit, purchasing behavior, and even how you use your computer, what time you use, all kinds of information are collected. So basically, the computer privacy the covers the way your personal information used, collected, shared, and stored on your personal devices and also on the internet. Once your computer is connected to the internet, then basically you are in a public domain. And hence, the privacy online has become a concern. The online privacy is the level of privacy protection an individual has while connected to the internet. And as I said, because of the social media, because of the various online activities we are involved in, then we, even the user shares a lot more information than what was feasible. And in some cases, a lot more information than what should do is share that. That raises the security, the privacy issues. And this particular code makes it this one. Basically, it very clearly says where we are. It is used to be expensive to make things public and cheap to make them private. That was in the early stages. Because it's very expensive to make public things, say any information, any announcement. And whereas it is cheaper to make certain information private because you write it on a paper, you keep it with you, and that's it. But now it is expensive to make things private, but cheap to make public. A very, very well valid statement. You can make any kind of information available online and make it public, but to keep it private or to say maintain its privacy and then respect its privacy is becoming a difficult. Then what is the solution? As I said, because of the various applications we use and the ways in which the businesses collect the data, and because almost every sector has gone online, the data about a person and the personal behavior goes on increasing. So if you want to protect the privacy, the one option is that to limit the digital footprint, basically what you share with others. But that seems to be not possible. First, let me highlight the two examples and then take it from there. Many of you have heard about the electric car, Tesla. Tesla collects lots of information about you. What speed you are driving it, and then so where you are gone, and all sorts of information. And that information is sent from your car to the Tesla server. So exactly about your car, about when it was used, so all the data is given to me. So it is no longer private. And also it has several cameras, and you can also find out who has been traveling it, where has been traveling, and all that. Just to highlight the privacy issue there, I will highlight the one instance. The Communist Party in China had a large meeting recently, and the Chinese officials banned the use of Tesla car for about 2 months in that region because they feared that there are a lot of information about the people attending there or who has been attending and what they have been doing or where have been traveling. All that could be passed on to someone else. That was their fear. They banned the use of Tesla car for 2 months in that area. And also, people were not knowing that what kind of information they were collecting it. And there was a case in which there was an accident between a Tesla car and another car, and then it was a fatal accident. And the victim's family they went to the court. In the court, then the Tesla car company has produced enough data to show that the individuals were traveling at high speed, not only during the time of the accident and also previous that, because they have a lot of historical data. This is just to show that, particularly when the car becomes autonomous or carless, lots and lots of data will be collected about you and your behavior, even without your knowledge. That's what I wanted to highlight it. And then look at this one. So it is not going to be, there was some study done recently at the MIT, even your dream could be hacked. So even in the dream, there are say potential that they will inject certain ads, some promotional ads and things like that. So this is how the world is moving on. So basically, there is no way that we can hide from the online. So only the best way is that to protect ourselves online. So one is that, and also now the social media, people are sharing all sorts of information they should and later regretting it. So there is a need for restraint on what you want to share, why you want to share it. And also on the business side, they are collecting lots and lots of information. So it is important to realize that what data is needed, why it is needed, and how long it is needed. And those are the factors that affect the privacy. And also we need to contain a good cyber hygiene, meaning that good online behavior. In order to protect the data, good online behavior is needed, that we call as a cyber highlight. In terms of the time limit, I won't be able to go into the detail, but I have given several references where you can look at that, how you can minimize your digital footprint and how you can protect your digital privacy. And there is another concern, not only the adults, but the children as young as even 2 years are using the online apps. And the app developers are collecting a lot of information even from them, the children, teenagers. And now their privacy also need to be protected. And there, of course, there are different levels of privacy setting and different concerns. So it is not only the adults and then the data, but even children and teens, the privacy need to be protected. Now they are coming up with separate measures for protecting children and teenagers from privacy. And in order to protect strong privacy, and technology alone is not good enough, or there also need to be shared responsibility among the individuals, businesses, and the government. So only if it's a collective responsibility, then we can safeguard the privacy in the new digital world, because we will be sharing lots and lots of information as individuals. And also, there will be a lot of information will be collected by you, or for you, collected of you, even without your knowledge. And as people say, the Google know more about you than you know about you. So that is the general code. So the lots of information is collected even without your knowledge, and then how it needs to be protected is this. And if you don't act now to safeguard our privacy, then we could all become victims of identity theft, and people make use of information for all sorts of malicious activities, including identity theft. So basically, whatever information is online is in the public space. But unfortunately, more and more information, more and more about our private life are becoming in the public space. So as I said, the technology is one thing, and apart from the privacy policy regulation, there is a need for privacy training for everyone, the end user, the employees, then only we can safeguard the privacy. And many times, privacy training for employees is lacking, and as well as privacy training for the end users. Just the technology alone won't be able to safeguard the privacy, these kind of things are needed. And what I mean by privacy by design is that privacy has to be built in when we design a system, when we design a new application. It cannot be added because we need to take the privacy aspect. How do you ensure the privacy? How do you protect the data protection regulation? How do you incorporate it? And also, as I said earlier, what kind of data you need to be collected and all that. And for example, there was a recent major breach, technology, the privacy breach in Australia. There are a few cases. One is from a communication company, other from say the medical insurer company, and it was hacked. They collected about 17 million people's health data, and it was a ransomware attack. They asked for a huge money. The insurance company were not willing to pay, and because generally the recommendation is not to pay for the ransom attack, and they published the health records of thousands of people online just in the last week. So the privacy needs to be built into the design so that the data breach can be avoided. So basically, there is a need for perpetual awareness and action because things keep on, the landscape keep changing. So we need to protect this one. So we need to keep revisiting the policy, risk, and so on and so forth. So let me share with you a few quotes. In olden times, the privacy was good enough, as I said. Today, people want to share, people want to be more open. That is on one side. The other side is that the privacy is one of the biggest problems in the new electronic age. And privacy has things that become a thing of the past. Those are some of the realities that we need to realize. Privacy and security are important. Security and privacy are interlinked, although I could not go into detail, as privacy is subset of the bigger domain security, because most of the privacy breaches happens because of data breach, because of the security violations and security limitations. So it's important. And hence, we need to improve the security, we need to improve the privacy awareness and security. Here I want to show you a few cartoons that emphasize the situation we are in and the need to protect the earth. I leave you to read it. Here it says, a child saying, I am old enough to share something on social media that I will end up regretting for the rest of my life. So be careful of what we store in the online. And also the Internet of Things will collect a lot of information about you. And this is using the what you call encryption rather than using the real name calling by the encrypted name. And this one I highlighted there. My goodness, one little Google search, and now all the ads in my feed about that particular topic. That's what it says. So basically, lots and lots of information is being collected, may be used for various purposes, even without your willingness. And so basically, this chart shows that people are collecting and then misusing the information. That's where the privacy. And of course, there are other things like Google Assistant, Alexa, that also collect various information from you. So basically, what I say is that we don't have a privacy in the digital world we live in. We can try to protect it. What many have is only an illusion of privacy. So this is the world we will be living in. We will be living in the technological world, and whether intentionally or unintentionally, a lot of data will be collected. And the main focus is on the data protection, because that's where the computer security comes in. But at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, there is a need for greater awareness among the various stakeholders and also policy enforcement. So with that, I would like to conclude this talk by saying that technology does impact the privacy or link, and the way in which technology is moving forward, we will be facing more privacy challenges in the years to come. And the technology also is a double-edged sword. It can create privacy issues. It can also solve some of the privacy issues. That's why the technologies are recognized. But on the other side, the policies and user behavior and that together. So with that, we will be in a sort of uncharted territory in terms of the privacy in the going. But there is no going back. We'll be only moving forward. So we'll be using, we're living in the digital world, and then more and more data will become online, either intentionally or unintentionally. The challenge is that to protect our privacy online. With that, I would like to conclude my brief talk, and I hope I gave you some idea about how the technology impacting the business, privacy. And I will make the slides available on my website, which address is given there, www.tinyurl.com/bio. And I wish this summit a great success and look forward to meeting you at a different event. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be there. I thank all the organizers for inviting me to share it. Thank you very much.